If you're anything like me, you've probably set out to do something that you knew would change your life, but when it was time to actually do the work, you felt this intense pain or discomfort that wouldn't go away. That resistance ends up being so strong that you wind up procrastinating or giving up entirely. You feel shameful and angry at yourself, and you wonder if your life is ever going to change. I've gone through this exact situation more times than I could remember. Overcoming this problem is the one thing that will change your life the most out of any self-improvement advice you could find. Imagine the life you could be living if you did all the work you know you should be doing. Today you're going to find out exactly how to make that happen. If you can relate to what I just explained, you have probably felt the very powerful resistance that comes over you when you go and try and do the work. It can feel like there's an invisible barrier between you and the work you're trying to get done. This resistance is a relentless force with the sole purpose of preventing you from doing the work. It manifests in various ways, usually in the most optimal way that it knows will affect you and successfully stop you from doing the work. For example, if you have low self-esteem, when you go to do the work, the resistance will manifest in the form of thoughts criticizing you, telling you that you're not cut out for it, or something similar. If you're anxious around people, it will manifest in the form of thoughts telling you what other people would think about what you're doing. If you're normally lazy but you're trying to change, it will manifest in the form of thoughts telling you that this isn't you, or thoughts telling you how great relaxing would feel right now. It knows exactly what will make you stop doing the work, and it uses that against you. It is not your fault that this resistance exists, but it is your fault if you give in to it. You are more powerful than this resistance, and you can always overcome it. It is always your choice. The first step to conquering this resistance is understanding it fully. I'll start by explaining where this resistance comes from. So what is it that sends this resistance to you? What is behind this relentless force? That would be your current identity. If you're trying to change your life, the work you are trying to do probably doesn't align with your current identity. Doing the work makes you become a new person and create a new identity that better suits who you are becoming. Thus, it puts your current identity's existence at risk. Your current identity, or ego, is alive just like any other living thing. It has a survival bias just like you do. That means it does not want to die, and it will do anything it can to survive. If you successfully start doing that work, your current identity will slowly die as you become your new identity, which better aligns with who you want to be. Therefore, the current identity has to try and prevent you from doing the work. It sends the resistance to you in order to stop you from doing the work as best as it can. For example, if your identity has been a lazy stoner up until this point, and now you want to change that by starting a business, the lazy stoner inside of you will try and stop that because it wants to stay alive. This is the identity war that I've spoke about in one of my other videos. After you have made the choice to change your life, this war begins. There's a constant war in your mind between your current self and your new self. The current self is who you are right now, and the new self is who you are trying to become by changing your life. The current self fights by sending you resistance to hold you back and keep you comfortable so you stay as you currently are. You fight for the new self by doing the work you know you should be doing regardless of any resistance you face. The current self has no moral compass. It knows if it allows you to freely do the work and change your life, it will die. It can and will do absolutely anything to survive. It will make you feel bad about yourself so you don't have the courage to face the work. It will put fear into you so you are too afraid to face the work. It will seduce you with comfort and pleasure to keep you away from doing the work. It will make you wonder if the work is even worth the suffering you have to endure. It will make you doubt if you are even capable of succeeding. It will make you believe success is just luck and you aren't lucky. The current self has all these psychological weapons at its disposal, and it knows what will work best to hold you back. The one and only weapon you have against the current self is the work. The work you hate doing the most and have the most resistance towards is exactly the work that will kill the current self. Use the resistance as a compass towards what you should be doing. The more suffering and discomfort you face, the more damage you are doing to the current self. I'm sorry if you thought there would be some sort of magic pill to make the work easy right away, but there is no such thing. An understanding of what the resistance is gives you a huge advantage, but you still have to push through it and do the work anyway. That discomfort you feel will have to be your new comfort zone. An amazing quote I heard from a philosopher named Carl Jung says, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." If you want to reach the life you desire, you will have to go through immense suffering to get there. Life is suffering. Pain is required for evolution, and that is a law of nature. You cannot bypass this. The path to success is like walking barefoot down a hallway of broken glass. Once you know what you want, the only thing standing between you and that thing is a lot of suffering. You have to learn to be comfortable in that discomfort, comfortable in that suffering. You have to push through the resistance no matter what your thoughts are saying and no matter what your body is feeling. As you do this, the current self will slowly die and its grasp over you will become weaker and weaker. As you change your identity by doing the work consistently, the resistance won't be there nearly as much because you successfully killed the identity that was holding you back. Do you think a successful CEO has a problem doing his daily work? Some maybe, but not nearly as much as someone who was a stoner trying to become a businessman. You will not always win. Don't feel bad if you succumb to the resistance again. Just focus on making progress over a long time scale. If you think what I've just explained is some crazy nonsense, try to keep it in mind next time you face resistance towards something. You will notice that what I've said is true. What I explained so far covers what resistance is, why you face it, and how to beat it. There are ways to optimize your life so that you can better do the work and better beat the resistance. Firstly, you should be cutting out instant gratification activities to lower your baseline dopamine level. Having baseline dopamine levels that are way too high is like a form of mini resistance that you probably face without even knowing. Every time you indulge in a pleasurable activity, you get a spike in dopamine, which is the reward chemical in your brain. If you indulge in these types of activities regularly, your brain raises its baseline dopamine level because it thinks the new dopamine you're getting is its new normal. Now when you try and do something that's not super rewarding, like the work you know you should be doing, your brain struggles to enjoy it because it isn't as stimulating as those pleasurable activities it's used to. All you need to know is, if you are constantly indulging instant gratification activities like adult content, drugs, alcohol, or too much social media, you need to cut those out immediately. How do you expect to do boring work when your brain knows you can just open your phone and get much more enjoyment? These activities have no room in your life anyway when you are pursuing success. When you fully cut out these activities and your baseline dopamine level returns to normal, you will find that boring work is actually fulfilling and enjoyable. Secondly, you are what you consume. I explained this in my last video, so I recommend you check that one out after this one. Basically, what you consume fills your subconscious mind. If you are filling your mind with garbage stuff that doesn't align with the work you are trying to do, don't be surprised when it is harder to face that work. If you are always watching video game videos, don't be surprised when video games are on your mind all the time. If you are always consuming content that aligns with the work you are trying to do, don't be surprised when that work is always on your mind, and when it's easier to complete that work because of it. Optimize the rest of your life like this too. Focus on making the work easy to access and distractions hard to access. In conclusion, the reason you couldn't do the work this whole time was because the resistance was too strong for you. The resistance was too strong for you because you didn't understand it fully, and you didn't understand that you can push through it because you are more powerful than it is. Just remember, the motivation you might be feeling right now will not be there when it is time to face the work. Only the resistance will be there, and it will be strong and annoying just like you remember. So push through it, conquer that resistance, and destroy that identity that no longer serves you. If you enjoyed this video, go watch another one of mine right now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.